Shalom, giving all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rukakwadash. Shalom to the 144,000 and the rest of the elect out there. Shalom to you all. Anyway, I'm going to entitle this video, All Things Lead to the You-Know-What. The children of this world are wiser, ... You know, like in poetry, inside joke. Anyway, there's a video I came across by Savvy Finance. You know what? I'm going to subscribe to them. Get their notifications. Okay, this is a video featuring another video with Whitney Webb. If you know about her, she's kind of like the female version of like a Jordan Maxwell, like a Webster Tarpley. Anyway, I wonder if Webster Tarpley is still alive. And most of those guys, passed, went to the spirit world. Eustace Mullins and others, Jordan Maxwell, Anthony J. Hilder. Anyway, it says, okay, the name of this video, as you can see, BlackRock. Now, I watched the video on BlackRock, and the head guy behind it is a small hat named Fink. And you're going to find out as you study us, and the ones of us that are in this truth, you all know who runs the world. That's why when you talk about them, they have power to cut your, take your video down, or, eventually knock you off the web. So anyway, it says BlackRock's, do some research on BlackRock. BlackRock's next plan will shock the world. Whitney Webb's latest Larry Fink exposed. Larry Fink is, if not the chief, he's the head guy, the head vampire, and Fink is, I believe, is German, Jewish, if I'm not mistaken. You can look into the name origins. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let you, I'm not going to let you listen, because you know how YouTube get down. So it says systems to make up for everything they lost during. But let me just say this. A lot of things happened in the last couple of days. Saturday, the attempted assassination of Donald J. Trump. And now you have everybody and their mama saying, that was an inside thing, that was staged. People are not, if you go back to Kennedy, before Kennedy, Lincoln or whatever, whatever, if a president was assassinated, oh my goodness, who did it? This crazy gunman, lone gunman. What was found out is John Wilkes Booth, if I'm pronouncing his name right. They captured him, and he confessed. I believe that's a whole nother subject right there. That's a whole nother subject. That he was working for the bankers. What do you mean by bankers? The bankers out of Europe. Because Kennedy wanted to do his, Lincoln, which came back as Kennedy. Lincoln set up what was called a greenback, which did away with the, which counteracted the central bank. And it happened again with Kennedy. Kennedy did the same thing that Lincoln did because Lincoln came back as Kennedy. Reincarnation. People are reincarnated. Kingdoms are reincarnated. We're in Rome again. People, it's hard to explain to people that this is Rome or that America is Rome. You know, what you could do is go to my page and put in the word Rome, Roman Empire, and just watch some of the videos. So, like I said, I'm all over the place. I didn't have anything planned to set up. I didn't have no scriptures lined up. I'm just going with the spirit. So it says, and I kept thinking the same thing, the MOTB is going to all lead to the MOTB. Oh, there's a new term. Well, the term, it's new to me. It's, matter of fact, this is 8 minutes in, 8:01. Let me do this. Come right back to here. Okay, right here in this video, this is 5555556. Okay. Oh, there's a damn commercial. I don't want a commercial. Come on now. Okay, so they speak about in 5555, start at 555 or so. I guess it's a meeting of the Bretton Woods agreement. These are all steps to the MOTB. And any camp, any major camp that doesn't know it, ISCPK, IUIC, they teach different. They're gonna wake up. They're gonna realize the truth. It says Bretton Woods Agreement, an agreement under which gold, that's real money, gold and silver is real money, that's in the Constitution. FRNs is not in the Constitution. It's gold. Real money is gold and silver, which you people don't know about and don't possess, was the basis for the U.S. dollar. So they pegged the U.S. dollar, and before that it was the pound sterling, which is British money. And this was after World War II, that it went from the UK, United Kingdom, to the United States, America. So they said the American dollar, which is actually the FRN, Federal Reserve note, gold is pegged to it. When you go into the history, gold was taken off the market, so to speak. In other words, there was a point where you couldn't buy gold at $20 certificate. So Americans couldn't buy gold. That goes back to what's his name? FDR. This was 32, 33. This was after the depression, the Great Depression. He took gold. He took out gold and gave them another form of money. At that particular time, if I'm not mistaken, the UK, that was the only money that pegged to gold, the pound. Then you had World War II, and after World War II, they had the Bretton Woods Gathering Agreement Conference. But like I said, this is a picture, I believe. And then the decision was, we're gonna still deal with the gold standard, but the certificates, instead of $20, it's gonna cost you $35. So it almost doubled. So in 71, Nixon, took the gold. Should it be here? No, it's not. Took the gold. In other words, separated gold from the U.S. dollar, the Federal Reserve note, and that's when they were able to. They say print, but now they print, and then you also put extra zeros in the computer. When you get credit, I remember I got a $10,000 credit card back in '05, I believe it was. And I believe it was like 7%, was the annual interest rate. I'm sorry, annual percentage rate, APR. So anything I purchased, I had to pay it back with 7% on top of that, or 8%. And I never used it. And they had no power on me. They'd send me a nasty letter saying, we're closing your account because you don't use the card, because that's how they make money, off the percentage rate. So I had the card. I could have used it at any time. Never used it. Well, guess what? When you deal with these dollars, you're part of the system. You're forced to be a part of the system. You go to the store. I did this one time. I had a silver. Well, I did this 2 times. I had some silver, and I offered, this was a Korean guy, mechanic. I offered him silver. He said, "No, I don't want it," because he doesn't understand the money system. Another time, this was years ago, I explained the silver and gold to this. He was a Dominican. He owned a mechanic shop, and when I explained it to him, I said, "What do you want? You want the paper money, or you want the silver?" He said, "I'll take the silver." And he hasn't done anything with the silver. I run into him once in a while. I said, "You do anything with that silver?" But I did when I explained to him the silver compared to the money, and I said, "Look, a week later, 2 weeks later, a month later, you want to change your mind? You give me the silver. I'll give you the dollars back. I'll give you the dollars." Never got in contact. He got my number too. But anyway, see, somebody has explained this to you. Anyway, let's read this. It said Bretton Woods Agreement, an agreement under which gold was the basis for the U.S. dollar, which was deconnected, if that's a word, during the Nixon 71. Now you had silver and you had gold. The gold was first and then silver behind. You have no silver. These coins that you have are silver plated. I believe they're copper plated with silver. But I remember you had a dime. A dime was a tenth of an ounce of silver, which was what was it? A dollar certificate. So it said, "Oh, Jake, if you ever get reparations, you want the money. You want gold and silver. You don't want these dollars. You want gold and silver, or the money that you get. It'll be ongoing, which is never going to happen. It's never going to happen. Okay, if my main man Tariq Nasheed is listening, it's never going to happen. You're not going to get any reparations. You're not going to get $1 million a year for the next 50 years, which I feel that $3 million should be the first, and it should be adjusted. What's the term? Adjusted for inflation. So if the dollar loses value, instead of giving me $1 million that next year, you give me $1 million, $250,000, whatever the case may be. That's why you want gold and silver. Anyway, it was the basis for the U.S. dollar, and other currencies were pegged to the U.S. dollar's value. So they understand it. So let me go on. Oh, there's an acronym. I'm looking for it. The acronym is ES. Let me see if I can find it. So we know that the MOTB is definitely coming because we see the steps. You know something's coming because you see this thing happens, and then that other thing follows, and then something else follows after that until it comes down to the MOTB. So all Cash has to be done away with. Everything's going to be digital. Okay, let me see. I'm just trying to find it. I'm just trying to find it. Bear with me for a minute. Should be right around here. Let's see what's up. Another goddamn commercial. It's another commercial. Okay, I'm sorry. Let's do this. It's roundabout here. Okay, you should be familiar with WEF, World Economic Forum, World Order Plans, digital IDs, which eventually will be biometric IDs, meaning it's going to go into you. You're going to find out that GMS was 100% correct. And natural world tokenization, warning that Schwab think and useful puppets like Macron, with the premier of France, which he's not the premier anymore, are on the verge of achieving their grand plans, and how disastrous that would be for us all as we bring you, that would be for us all as we bring you clips from the video. Please take okay, let me see, subscribe to the channel. They're pushing the channel, algorithm, the channel's growth. Thank you and enjoy the video. Okay, digital ID. Digital ID is a key enabler of the surveillance, knowing what everyone is doing at the transactional level, and being able to tweak that micromanagement based on a person's activity, because the digital ID, which will be inside of you, biometrics ID, isn't just limited to the financial system. Digital ID isn't just limited to the financial system. It's going to be everything. Right? It's like your travel, your health history, your career history, your education, credentials, your access to telecommunications, your access to the web. You need the micro C-HIP to go on the web, social media, the internet. With the new AI, artificial intelligence era, right? They can fuse all that data, analyze it, and depend on how they develop that AI algorithm. Give you an idea of what algorithm is. If I was to put in Mustang cars or whatever, Ford Mustang, I'll get a lot of the algorithm to change. All these thumbnails would be everything having to do with Ford Mustangs and cars and so forth. If I put boxing, if I put Gervonta Tank David, I'm going to get all kind of boxing related thumbnails. That's the best way to describe an algorithm. They developed that AI algorithm, use it to control people really in unprecedented ways. Okay, so it's gonna be a part of this. This right here is known as a what do you call it? QR code, quick response. Then it'll match your face, but eventually you're gonna swipe your hand. You're gonna find out that GMS, we're the premier group of prophets. Why do you think the Sakari teach the same thing we teach when it comes to the MOTB? Where do you think they got it from? They got it from us. Unprecedented ways, I think. The digital ID, which will go into your hand, and the CBDC, Central Bank Digital Currency. So your paper money and coin money is going to be done away with. It's going to be obsolete. And it's private sector. Equivalent project is something that we're always sort of intending to be the same system. So there's documents from the UN, from the biz and related groups that are sort of been working on this for years, that essentially frame one is essential to others, using words about, this is inclusionary, sort of a whole, I guess, market behind digital ID. Everyone needs a legal ID because otherwise they're unable to access essential services or any service. Any service. You won't be able to register your car unless you got the micro C-HIP. And that's going to happen with Jacob's Trouble. Oh, going back to what I said, I lost my train of thought. I was talking about Donald Trump, the assassination attempt. Everybody saying it was bullshit, it was staged, it was fake. Which there's more videos coming out on it. And also last night just realized that Joe Biden got the sea ragamuffin. I said, oh brother. I said, couldn't they come up with something more creative than that? Come on now. I said, anybody that believes that, I got a bridge to sell you in Brooklyn. Oh, he got the sea ragamuffin. Oh, okay, all right. A couple of days after this guy almost got his head blown off. But a famous individual, black individual, said that conspiracy theorists are generally nuts. No more. Essential services, right? And so the idea is we all have to be included in the system, and they directly, let me bring that back. We all have to be included in the system, and they directly link that to the concept of financial inclusion and banking the unbanked. You got people that cash the check at check cashing places. You're going to have to, the check cashing places will be set up for the micro C-HIP. Banking, inherently these systems actually function in an exclusionary way based on how they, Essential said this. I'm trying to get this term, system, state, no private sector concern don't exist. So by not participating in the system, you're inherently excluded from the economy. You cannot buy or sell unless you have the charagma. like I said in the past, when this thing actually comes, when this prophecy comes to pass, and you have to make a decision, it's gonna shake Jake up. Jake is gonna get shook up. Trust me. These different camps out there that believe otherwise, they're gonna be shook up. Because you're gonna have to take it to remain in this system. You can't go to the hospital. Oh, I was watching one video in New York State. I believe they're closing either 100-something hospitals or 1,000-something hospitals in New York State. That's on your regular news, one of the major news stations. That you had a lot of these hospitals that they're all closing down. So if you're sick, you need to have a car. In other words, you can't go a mile away to the hospital, 2 miles away to the hospital. You got to go maybe 30 miles away. And then Medicaid is not, when you go into the hospital when you're sick, they don't give you a bill, because the prices on medication, on anything that you get, is sky high. So you in the hospital for 4 days, that might have been $50,000. And the hospitals are open all around the clock. You know, they're constantly making money. You know? But the Medicaid, which is the government, is not, they're only giving them 70%. Oh, 100,000, we're gonna give you 70,000, and you got to figure out how to get the rest of it. So they got to make a deal. It's all big money, and the super rich. Everything. So you have to go on board the surveillance state. So everything that you buy, everything that you get, everything that you buy a pack of cigarette, they know that you purchased a pack of cigarette. You spend $152 at a shop, a supermarket, Stop and Shop or whatever, or a ShopRite or whatever, wherever you go, Aldi's or whatever you go, everything is digital, so they know how much, exactly what you purchased, and they know what time you purchased it. They know how many hours you did at your job. You watch TV, they know what you're watching. That's why you get commercials. You're watching a TV show and you get commercials that, for example, like CNN, all day long you're going to get commercials for pharmaceutical drugs, for the most part. You watch boxing, you're going to get commercials. UFC. Watch on the ESPN UFC, you know what you're going to get? You're going to get AutoZone commercials, Taco Bell commercials, Burger King commercials, and beer commercials. The Super Bowl, same thing. They're going to give you things that you relate to. So it says have to onboard the surveillance state or be, and they showed you that in the movie Enemy of the State. If you can get that movie, if you got that on DVD, watch that movie again. That came out in the 90s. They knew everywhere Will Smith went to. It's a good movie too, damn good movie. And Will Smith is a great actor. You know, he's definitely a great actor. He won an Oscar. He got a couple of Oscar nominations. He's a legit actor. Okay? So it's you being marketed as inclusion, but it's really inherently exclusionary. How does this system get triggered? How do we move into the Mark Kearney ISM Okay, there it goes again. The new Bretton Woods movement that needs to be seized. The new. So Bretton Woods was what came out of World War II, essentially, and was the creation of a new financial governance system after World War II. And this is essential an effort to create a new financial governance system that announced a well before any sort of crisis. So anything that they do, it's already planned. It was if it's done in politics, it was planned. Anything happens, it was planned that way. Like that puts it probably, but it's probably going to need a crisis assassination attempt. Joe Biden, all of a sudden he gets up and wait a minute, you look a little sluggish. Let me check. You got the crown, you got the C ragamuffin. Yeah, you're slow. You're not. They showed him last night going. You know how you go on a plane, going up the stairs, and he was walking slow as hell, man. So they're gonna push him out. Now I don't know what they're gonna do. There'll be a fool to put this woman, what's her name? The vice president. She's so insignificant I don't even remember her name. The hell is her name? Harris, Kamala Harris. Believe me, if she runs against Trump, it's done and over. And they said, "Oh, we don't have anybody in the Democratic Party that is that can go up against Trump like a Joe Biden." And Joe Biden is like damn near 2 steps from dropping dead. To need a crisis of that level to be implemented and to convince people to on board is this the MOTB at scale. And if you subscribe to the theory that all wars are bankers' wars, you got to watch that. All Wars Are Bankers' Wars by Michael Rivero. If you go to YouTube, you put in All Wars Are Banking Wars, Michael Rivero did a video on that. And the way I found it was I typed in All Wars Are Banking Wars in the Google and it came up. There's plenty of evidence to support that. I would say that seems to suggest that perhaps you know that this is the pre-you. Okay, here this goes. Now I didn't find but there was a term, CBDC, ES. Let me go over here. I'm jumping around. Okay, Nixon, and I believe this was 71. Nixon ends convertibility of U.S. dollars to gold and announces wage price control. So what they did was, the U.S. did was, they had control of the gold, including gold around the world. Everybody gave up their gold and said, okay, we're going to deal with our money, we're going to convert it into U.S. dollars, which we can take the U.S. dollars and convert it back into gold or silver. So what happened behind the scenes, but certain experts say that they had to give certain, pieces of the land of the U.S. to these people. Or we can't give you gold, but we can give you this. That's why you got these national parks that you can go in the daytime and you can't sleep in the park, because China owns a lot of America, because they couldn't give them the gold back. France. So they finessed everybody. That's why ultimately, Revelation chapter 17, you can start at the 12th verse. It says they're going to they're going to eat her flesh as it was a fire. James 5. We haven't gone through that. What was James 5 goes hand in hand with Revelation 17 and 12 on down. Because they've been frauded. They've been finessed. Matter of fact, let me go to that. But you can watch this Let me give you a couple of precepts here. All this stuff is leading to the MOTB, which when that comes to pass, that's gonna be a test. Everybody's gonna make a decision. You can't eat, you can't do this, you can't live in an apartment building because you got to pay your rent, or you got to pay your mortgage, and everything's digitalized. If you don't got the micro C-hip, if you got a car, you can't. You're gonna be homeless, and they ain't gonna give it. You're gonna be outside the system. So that's gonna be a test, and I believe that it might happen for about a month. The test might. Because not eating something for a whole month, worrying about a roof being over your head, you might hold on. You might know that the MOTB is the fulfillment of Revelation 13 and 16, and you might hold out for 3 days. Then you say, "Fuck this." Your children are crying at you. Your wife is crying to you, and you just give up. That's going to be the ultimate test. Revelation 3 verse 10, the time of testing. The time of testing. The test is you're going to take this micro C-hip or not. Like I said, I'm going to say it again. You other camps out there teaching contrary to what we're teaching concerning the MOTB, you're gonna be shocked, and your people are gonna be shocked too, because most people that come into this Hebrew Israelite thing are followers. Most of them are followers, man. They see a particular guy, he's a vicar of the Most High. He's a vicar of Yahweh Shai. The Most High, this is the man. This is God on earth. Anything this nigga say, I'm going to listen to. Why you think Bishop Nate, last year's Passover, he came in on a horse? And you see the women, oh my goodness. He's a cult leader. That's all he is. That's the Black Sun Young Moon. And like I said, he's the main one that bucks up against us concerning the MOTB. He's the main one that bucks up against us. Now, I don't know if he just can't see it, the Most High blinded him, or he took a bag. I don't know. But it's gonna be, like I said, people are gonna wake up. And if this guy says go ahead and take it, and you take it, well, that's on you, nigga. So in that video, the acronym ESG came up. They mentioned the CBDC, they didn't mention the ESG. So I wasn't sure what it was. So what I did was I looked it up. ESG stands for environmental. And when you go out into the world, you go to the park, you do this, that's a part of the environment. The S stands for social. When you're dealing with people, you communicate with people, you do, and government, governance. ESG stands for environmental, social, and governance. So this New World Order system, everything's going to be connected to the you dudes that have children and with women, and you don't want to pay child support, they know that that's your child. They already know. They said that's his child. We got surveillance on that, and they're gonna just tap into your thing, and they don't want you to go to court no more. You go through a red light, you don't got to go to cop. Don't got to pull you over. They take a picture of your license, and they'll send you a bill. What they do now in this new system, they're just going to deduct it out of your money. It's a set of standards that measure a business impact on society. You're dealing with people socially, and the environment. And the environment is anywhere you go. You go to the mall, which malls are done away with. All malls are closing down, right? You go to the movies, you're dealing with people. You pay bills, wherever. You go to the DMV, you're dealing with people, you know? As well as how transparent and accountable it is. ESG is also known as sustainability. Let me do this. This is all about complete control, digital slavery. And they ain't going to enslave black people. Jake, they're going to enslave the whole world. ESG, environmental, climate change. So you're going to be limited in driving your car so many miles. Energy and fuel, environmental compliance, greenhouse gas emissions, pollution control, resource scarcity. That means you can only eat limited food. You know, with the see ragamuffin, when you go to the store, you had to wait on a long line. You came into the store. When you cashed out, if you did the self checkout, you had to have a credit card because money. I don't know how money just disappeared. Oh, and then they said if you touch a dollar bill or any form of money, that see ragamuffin is on that. And people believe that bullshit. Waste and recycling, water use. Okay, social, diversity and equality, employee relations. Right, you have a thing called, what is it called? HR. Environmental justice, health and safety, human rights. Human rights is protecting the alphabet people. So if you say something negative to an alphabet person or a J, you can get locked up. Non-discrimination. So you can't say anything negative about anybody because you can get locked up or fined. Security, training, and education. The school system. Governance. Broad diversity. Bribery and corruption. Ethics. Exclusive compensation. Political lobbying. Procurement practices, reliance, I can hardly see these letters, they're small, risk management. Let me do this, let me pull this up. Environmental, social, and governments, a set of standards for a company's behavior used by socially conscious investors to screen potential investments. And who's going to be rich on this? The super rich. They're going to become richer. But it's all going to lead to the MOTB. Like we've been saying. So now let me give you a couple of precepts here. Okay, let me go to James 5. And I'm going to read it in the NLT. Look here, you rich people. When they say rich, they're talking about, 150 billion, 100 billion, 150 billion, you considered rich. Then you got the ultra rich, which are trillionaires. Weeping groan with anguish because of all the terrible troubles ahead of you. Another precept that come to mind is Job chapter 20. Your wealth is rotting away, and your fine clothes are moth-eaten rags. You're going to go from riches to rags. The first people that are going to be enslaved are the super rich, the uber rich, the ultra rich, the 100 billion, 150 billion, 500 billion, trillion. So they're going to make it because they're going to know to escape the destruction. They know that this is Babylon the Great. They know that we're the Israelites. They know that they're the Edomites. They know that the people over there in the Israelites are not the people. But although some of them are, some of them pasty Jays are actually Israelites. It says your gold and silver have become worthless. The scriptures say you're going to throw your gold and silver in the street. The very wealth you were counting on will eat away your flesh like fire. That's not a good translation. This treasure you have accumulated will stand as evidence against you and the day of judgment. Anything outside of Petra or the land of Mount Seir, you stole. Ill-gotten gains. 4th verse. For listen, hear the cries of the field workers. Uh-oh. You had two types of slaves. You had the house Negro and the field Negro. For listen, hear the cries of the field workers. Hear the cries of the field Negroes. These are you that drive buses, that operate trains, that work at factories, that deal with these different, you're like working class people whom you have cheated of their pay. How did you cheat them of their pay? Because you gave them Federal Reserve notes instead of gold and silver. Under the gold and silver, if everything remained under gold and silver, prices never go up. Prices stay the same. You watch these old, go back to these old movies back in 1902 or whatever. You'll have like a hot dog stand, and a hot dog would be 5 cents. Or a burger would be 5 cents. McDonald's, I think a burger was a nickel. I remember when the Mr. Softy truck came by in the city, it would be a dime to get an ice cream cone. Now it's what, $3, $3.50? I remember when a slice of pizza, there was one place where a slice of pizza was 10 cents. Other places in the area next to them, they were the cheapest in town, and those were good pizzas. They were 25 cents. For 25 cents, you get a large pizza. Now, if you go to a pizza shop, you're talking $4 a slice? So if everything was on a gold, this money system was gold and silver, the prices would never go up. And people say everything is too high. The prices are not. If you understood money, prices do not go up. It's the value of money that goes down. That's why when you read in the King James, it said that it uses the word fraud. They finessed them. For listen, hear the cries of the field niggas, whom you have cheated of their pay. How did you do that? By giving them money, debt-bearing notes. No value to the money. The wages you held back cry out against you. And there's a law on that. When you got to pay them, you got to pay them every day. If you don't pay them every day, you're going to cry to the Lord, and it becomes a curse to you. Then another problem Another thing with Esau, his system is meant to crash. Somebody said something. They were going into, you can look this up too. Project 225 by this Heritage Foundation. If you watch videos on that, you get an understanding that when a Republican, when Trump comes in, which he's definitely got to come in. Who's gonna? Is Kamala Harris? Kamala Harris ain't gonna be the next president. Trust me, because the good old boys will burn this country down. They ain't gonna have her. They ain't gonna have a bed wench up in the White House. Okay, that's in other words, that's what they're saying. They're looking at her as a bed wench because he's laying down with a white man. This country will be destroyed. So anyway, I lost my thought. It said the cries of those who harvest your fields have reached the ears of the Lord of heaven's army. Now, the word is Sabaoth, which means the Lord of the armies. And the army that he's getting ready to use are the ICBMs. When you go to, Revelation chapter 9, verse around 16 verse, it speaks about 200,000 on horses. It's talking about missiles. It's not talking about the angels. It's not talking about the Chinese military. It's talking about the missiles. It said, you have spent your years on earth in luxury, Revelation 18, satisfying your every desire. You have fattened yourself for the day of slaughter. You have condemned and killed innocent people. Who are the innocent people? The Israelites. No matter what wickedness we do, we're still innocent because we're still going to be forgiven. The promise that was given to Abraham applies to all the seed of Israel. So not one Israelite going to burn in hell because number one, there's no hell. So anybody that's teaching you that, Yahweh Shem Yahushua is not dealing with them. There's no such thing as a eternal hell. And if there was, not one Israelite's going to go there. You're going to find out that GMS is the premier group. That's why this guy, Vocab and Abu, was begging to get back into our good graces, which they would never were from the beginning. They were begging, Apostle Ramlab's video that he did, and I'm going to go to that. They were begging to get up. We can't do a sit down. No, we can't do a sit down. And we found out that even Vocab said this. He said that the IUIC called the cops on me 4 different times. But they don't advertise it. So they're saying we're cowards. No, we're tired of your bullshit. We're tired of you coming with your bullshit, man. Let's say you have a mechanic shop and you got a person that comes get his car fixed, and when it comes time to pay, he ain't got the money. 3 weeks later, he got half of the money. After a while, you're going to say, don't come, you no longer can come, or you got to pay me up front. If you want to have a sit down with us, give us $50,000 and we'll sit down with you. 50 G's. And it's going to go up from there, 50 G's and up. And that's for maybe 15 minutes. You can't just roll up on us no more. We're going to call the cops. What does LL say? These kind of lyrics make you call the cops. You have condemned and killed innocent people, which are the Israelites, who do not resist you, who do not have the power to resist you. That's Deuteronomy 28, starting from the 32nd verse. Then it goes on to say, be patient. So everything's going to lead to the time of Jacob's trouble, the MOTB, the microchipping, which the whole world is going to have to deal with. You're going to either take it or don't take it. If you don't take it, you're going to be homeless. You're going to have a cardboard box to sleep in with your children. And you guys that have wives and children, man, You might be strong, but is your wife going to be strong? Are you going to be able to deal with the crying of your children? Because it's going to be a test. Like I said, when they make that thing mandatory, everything going to be super quick. So the Most High could come. The test. I tested Jake for a whole week, because niggas get weak quick. They get weak quick. That's a title right there. And you by yourself, you do by yourself, you're gonna lock in. But if you got, like I said, if you got women and children, they're gonna be crying at you, man. And then you're gonna have to straighten them out. So that's gonna be a major test. And I see a lot of you guys are gonna fall off, and a lot of you guys are gonna take it. A lot of you guys are gonna have that attitude where, F it, I'm just gonna fucking take it, man. And then when the missiles come, I'll call on the name Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. And guess what? You're going to still get hit by a missile. So we want this thing to come tonight. We want them to, breaking news, everybody got to get a microchip. I'm all praises to Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. We out this bitch. I'm going to say this again. As soon as they make the MOTB mandatory, everything's going to move lightning fast. We're not going to be in this system for a year before the Lord come. The Lord might come a month after that, maybe 2 weeks after that. Everything is moving quick. You see how many things happened the last couple of days since Saturday. Assassination attempt. Now they're saying it was an inside job, that these Secret Service people didn't do their job. And they didn't. They didn't. Then they're saying that people were saying that there's a guy, who's this guy on the roof? He got a long gun. And they ignored him. They ignored that. Don't worry about that. And they said he was up there, sitting up there for about 30 minutes. So the ones of you that your eyes are open, you can see everything. The old saying, they can't pull the wool over your eye. That's why ultimately the NATO and EU nations are going to shoot missiles on this place along with Russia, possibly China. China is an ally of Russia. Whatever missiles China has will be shot on America. It doesn't go into a whole thing, a big thing about China, but it's definitely talking about Gog, from Gog. That's what Magog means, from Gog, the land of Gog. Anyway, with that, I'm going to say shalom.